Today we're going to be breaking down the Spladle wrestling move. Now, the Spladle is basically a split-legged cradle done to get a pin or gain some near fall points. Usually the main three ways you're going to get this move is either from neutral as an offensive or defensive wrestler, or on top as an offensive wrestler. And in this clip we're going to see how to get a Spladle in neutral. So basically the main way you're going to get it is if you hit a high level attack from a kawatari, such as a slide by, throw by, shrug, or duck under. So once you get there into that side by side position, the wrestler in yellow locks his leg in, and then later reaches over the top, over his back, grabs the leg, and rocks him forward for the Spladle. Here is another example from a Spladle from the neutral position. The wrestler in yellow and blue gets a slide by, reaches over the back, locks up, and rocks him backwards. Once it is locked up like this, all you have to do is settle and let your opponent pin himself, basically. Next, we're going to look at a defensive Spladle by the great wrestler Bo Nickel. So Bo Nickel's opponent here, Brooks, takes a shot on him, and Bo Nickel immediately goes to the leg. But instead of going under the leg, Bo Nickel goes over the leg, locks it up, pushes his leg in, and then rocks him backwards. The only downside to going over the leg is that you're basically pinning yourself. Alright, next we see another defensive Spladle, this time from the Illinois High School State Finals. So the wrestler in light orange takes a shot on his opponent, and the wrestler in dark orange immediately switches underneath the leg and traps his leg behind his opponent's kneecap. From there, he turns the corner, gets some momentum, and takes him backward. The only thing that he could have fixed was he was hipping down too much in his left hip. He should have shifted his weight because his opponent almost got a defensive pin from there. Here we see a defensive Spladle by Seth Gross. So Seth Gross is on the defense. He hooks his leg onto RBY's leg to secure the 2 points, reaches over the top of his back, grabs the leg, rocks him forward, and gets 2 points in near fall from there. Usually Spladles are supposed to be unescapable unless you did something wrong, and the mistake that Seth Gross did was that he let go of RBY's leg too early, which allowed RBY to flip over onto him. Next, we're going to be looking at Spladles from the top. Now, usually Spladles from the top happen when you're about to get reversed and pulled over, or if you have a boot in. Here, the wrestler in black almost gets pulled over, grabs his opponent's leg, and hooks his own leg into his opponent's knee to anchor in that position. From there, he rocks him forward using his own momentum in a perfect textbook Spladle. If this move is done correctly, you can not only embarrass your opponent, but also demoralize him into almost pinning himself, which is what happened in this clip. Here we see another Spladle from the top. The wrestler in red puts a boot in, giving him more control over his opponent. From there, he reaches over the leg and rocks him backwards. The only problem with this Spladle is when he reached over the leg, you're putting more pressure on your own hip and almost pinning yourself, which is what happened in this match a few times. Other than that, great Spladle. Here we're going to see a rare spladle from the bottom position. The wrestler in yellow attempts a stand-up. Wrestler in red switches to a leg. He just rolls him. Probably the fastest spladle I've ever seen. If we take a closer look at that move, we see the wrestler in yellow hooks his opponent's leg with his hands at the same time as he hooks his own leg with his opponent. From there, he just rolls him through using his opponent's forward momentum and secures the pin. Finally, we're going to be looking at escapes from the spladle position and what went wrong in these spladles. So here we see the wrestler in red picks a good time to reach over the top, grab the leg, as well as hook the leg with his own, but there just isn't enough momentum to drive him all the way, which is why he's in almost like a half spladle position. Because of this, the defensive wrestler is able to pull his leg up and escape from the position. And finally, we got the last spladle escape. The wrestler in blue does a good job of hooking the leg as well as reaching underneath the leg, but the only mistake that he makes is he uses his second leg to hook onto his opponent's leg, giving him less leverage on the arm, but more leverage on the leg, but that results in his opponent's arm getting free and breaking free from the spladle. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up. There's our breakdown of how to hit a spladle. Congrats if you've made it to the end of the video. Be sure to leave a like, comment down below on what you would like to see us break down next, and sub for more wrestling content like this. Peace.